Overall this month, our marketing costs are down, our website sessions are up, orders are up, AOV is up. But what happened and what we think happened is Google. And I'm just amazed at how much we're actually spending on a fixed basis every month. On Wholesale, we are doing so well here, and that's because we've started to get a lot of customers through Faire on their marketplace, especially if you consider that Faire was £300 for free last year. What's up everyone, and welcome back to Candid Founders, where we give you a candid view of a growing business. In today's episode, we're going to go through our March board pack. It's hopefully improved a lot since our Jan-Feb board pack, and we've also brought on a new board member. So a big welcome to Kenzie, who's a Chief Marketing Officer. She works at a large startup at the moment and has got previous experience at a big retailer. So hopefully she can help us grow even more, and she's already starting to give us some great feedback. This month, we've added more data, more comparisons, some break-even information, but we still know there's a lot to improve. I'd like to get some more information on what our marketing efficiency ratio was last year, how we're improving inventory management, and what are our goals for this year and how are we tracking against them. Kenzie joins our board with Tom, who's a former partner at McKinsey, and we're also still on the lookout for someone with an operations, e-commerce, and retail background, so if you know anyone, please send them our way. Overall, the performance year on year in March is down 15%. Pretty happy with that, to be honest. Faire is down 24%, and that's really doing quite well if you consider that we're out of a promotional period where last year Faire were offering new customers £300 for free, which we were then getting. So we saw an incredible uptick there. Our online store is only down 12%, but our marketing spend is massively down month on month. So pretty happy with our channels. And we've also started to diversify out as well. So we've got Etsy, Ankorstore, wholesale pricing discount, which is our manual application, and some small work from Shopify Shop. On the direct consumer side, like I mentioned, marketing spend is down, but website sessions are up, conversion rates up, orders are up, revenue's up. Marketing efficiency ratio is okay. It could do with a bit of improvement, but I think it's pretty good, all things considered. And our returning customer rate, although it's down, it's kind of in line with where we were before. So overall, pretty happy with the direct consumer side. We're really happy with where we're at on product at the moment. We've got a solid pipeline of designs coming in that are being sampled and that should be ready for Christmas. We have a lot that we need to restock. And at the moment, the way we're thinking about restocking, and this is counter to how other retailers tend to do it, is that we think that there's a decent value from continuing to bring back in stock that has sold out. Even if it hasn't sold super quickly, we're starting to cut a couple socks, but not many. And we'll start to do that as we start to get a bit more sophisticated on the designs that we're bringing out. Operations are doing well. We are down with our fulfillment speed. Our fulfillment costs are staying relatively stubbornly high at 25%, but we should see that come down in the next couple months. From our board members, we had some really good feedback on this slide. Kenzie suggested that we should strip out what she was calling amps. And this is the, non-seasonally adjusted different things, promotions, etc. that you were having in there last year that we didn't have this year. So like I mentioned, the Faire £300 offer. If we had stripped that out, what would it look like? We're relatively small at the moment, so probably not something we think we're going to be able to do. That's okay. Maybe it's something for the future. Tom also had a good insight on this section, and he said, looks good, but what are we doing and how are we doing compared to last year, as well as forecast for what we want to do this year. So that's something that we'll be adding in next month. One of the biggest things that we had last month was trying to consider how we're doing on a break-even basis month on month and what do we need to be aiming for. So we kind of collated all of our costs, a massive £10,000 almost fixed. We're holding our marketing budget fixed at the moment, and that's just after some really good guidance we had from a chief marketing officer of a large business who suggested that we need to be thinking 70% awareness, 30% conversion, and just outside of core periods, have an always on so that people are aware of your brand. So we're going to keep that. Our variable costs are sitting stubbornly high at about 50%. Our cost of goods sold at 23% is massively high, and that's because I guess the amount we've got of sales that are in the wholesale business, and so you'd expect the cost of goods to make a larger percentage there. Obviously, marketing isn't in that business. And so what we've kind of come to is the view that it looks like we're going to have to get about £20,000 of revenue a month for us to break even. Obviously, that's very easy in the core periods of October, November, December. But outside of those periods, what are we going to do to try and smooth that revenue curve? And that was after a great piece of analysis from Tom to just say, okay, we're not doing particularly well, but what's that quick, pithy metric that we can grab onto and say, okay, look, this is what we need to do with costs and revenue. This is our direct-to-consumer overview, and we're actually looking for a better analytics software that we can use for Shopify. At the moment, we're just using their core program, which is okay, but it doesn't help us split out the different channels. So average order value here includes our wholesale, which as you can see is down on average order value, but you wouldn't expect our average order value to include that normally. Same thing with average orders. I'd like to be able to more cleverly and clearly split out that online store, Etsy, shop, social supermarket are more of our direct consumer businesses. But what we can see is we are massively up on our sessions, 10%. We're getting a lot of customers through search and direct, which I'm quite happy about. Social is down, and that's natural. We're not seeing as much spend on Facebook. Our conversion rate is slightly down, but again, the whole industry seems to be kind of going down to that 3% conversion rate. And so we're slightly above it, but really more just in line. So happy as I guess we can be. Our board members had some really good feedback here on what we're doing with our lifetime customer value. So Kenzie was asking, what is it? 2, what are we doing to increase it? We're obviously getting a lot of customers in, but are we getting enough of them in and coming back? So what does our email strategy look like? How are we doing with our flows? What are we doing with discounts? And so that's something that we're looking to bring in here. So we'll start to add some type of tracking around emails as well as lifetime value. This is our marketing data. It's definitely my least favorite slide. I don't know what we're going to do with it. If anyone's got any suggestions, please do shout. So spend's down by 38%. Impressions are up by a decent amount. Clicks are down. A customer acquisition cost, it's going in the right direction, and our revenue relatively strong, at least as measured by Shopify with their last click. But I think there's a lot more we need to do here. We need to break down conversion and awareness. I just haven't seen a nice, easy way to do this to follow on a month-by-month basis. So again, if anyone's got any suggestions here, please do send them across. One of the sections we wanted to talk about with our board member, in particular Kenzie, was what does our marketing calendar look like? There was a bit of a debate at the management team to just kind of work out, should we be actually marketing socks at Royal Ascot? Might not be the right place to do it, but these are these activations that you're getting throughout the year where people are coming, and they're thinking about, say, the Royal Flower Show or potentially Pride. And what are we doing to put our stand out there? And how does Bear Kind, as an animal saving business, kind of play into that? We should be trying to sell to those customers that want to buy during that time. And so we just tried to pull this calendar together, and we're going to pivot the way we're thinking about marketing, less from like, okay, that doesn't really specifically, target us, but it actually could be something that people might be interested in, and they might be thinking about socks. And so let's hit that at that core period, which for us really is Father's Day and Christmas Day. And then obviously you've got throughout the year gifting periods as well. So the next section is our wholesale business. This is probably my favorite little slide graphic with the little boxes moving. Onto our wholesale business, which brings us to today's sponsor, Mercata. Mercata is a wholesale platform which we use to sell directly to retailers. It's a super simple process. We send them a link. Those retailers then check out like they would with a normal catalog. They can click all of the different items that they would like, add them to their basket and make their payment. It automates all of the invoice tracking. We don't need to worry about, chasing them for payment, which is something that's just so crazy with manual wholesale sales. And so we're happy to be working with them. They've got a really easy to understand pricing structure. It's free as long as it works for you forever. And then if it starts to get a bit of scale, you can move up to their $200 a month package, which allows you to list pretty much all of your products, sell to all of your customers, and do so in a really easy way. So in a couple of sales, you'll have made that money back. No sweat at all. We're really glad that we could use them, and we've started to use them quite a lot in our business. If there's anything I could probably recommend is reach out to support. They will help you connect up your Shopify store and really kind of any integration, so you don't have to worry about manually inputting orders into your warehouse or chasing any customers and getting their details into your email system as well. The wholesale business, I think, is proving extremely robust. We've been able to get a decent amount from Faire Marketplace. Faire Marketplace is where they've actually gone out and found customers for us. And they found those customers because our products are selling well, they're being purchased a lot, people are finding them. So Faire's surfacing them in our algorithm. And if you consider that last year we had £300 per order from Faire, and we're still only a few percent below that, I think it's starting to show a really robust wholesale business there. We're also supported by Creoweight. Creoweight's providing a new to market offer where they're trying to compete into the UK, kind of unseat Faire. It's going to be interesting to see how that competition goes. We've only really had, I think in total, 8 orders from them with about £4,000, but nothing to definitely say no to. Ankorstore continues to bubble along on the side. Nothing really as big as Faire, especially in the UK, but they're more dominant in Europe. And our overall orders, we're starting to think at the very top of the funnel, okay, what's our awareness? Cold emails and cold leads, we went from 50 last month to 730. So really starting to go back out and start that acquisition directly. We're thinking mostly about, kind of farm stores, shoe shops, that type of thing that we think could be, a good use for our animal saving products. We're also trying to track how many views we're getting on our wholesale pages, Faire being the major one. They're driving so many impressions across their platforms, which is getting us about 1,500 views a month. And our website, if I look at last year, was actually at 50 viewers a month on wholesale, and now it's at 210. So a great increase, and something that we're trying to drive as well to see if that brings customers to us directly. On an operations basis, I think we're doing quite strongly here. We've got, less than a day fulfillment. We're getting a decent amount of reviews, probably the most amount, at least for a sock brand, bar 1 or 2. And we're starting to get a really high average review rate. I think this will get close to maybe 100 by the end of quarter 2, which would be amazing to see. And we're starting to drive that just by messaging customers after they've ordered, about a month or 2 after their orders. Just going back to our board meeting minutes, Tom was talking about what are our wholesale cohorts looking like. We must have a couple of customers that are our really strong purchasers. I know we've got some customers who have purchased over 20 times. We've also got some customers who have purchased once and didn't come back. And Tom was asking questions like, if they're purchasing once and they're not coming back, is that because they've purchased a small amount of socks and not enough to actually make those sales work? Or is it because, maybe the socks aren't selling too well for them? And that's not something we've got a view of at the moment, but something that we're hoping to get a view of soon. Now to our favorite slide, which is the product pipeline, and I've grayed out what our in-production, sampling, design, and ready-to-order socks look like, or what animals they are. As you can imagine, we need to be really super secret on what they are to keep everybody excited, but we're starting to get a more robust pipeline there. We're restocking quite a lot of socks, which a lot of people will be very happy about, and we've actually discontinued 2, which is the pugs and rabbits. Sadly, the pugs and rabbits really weren't selling well, but we'd like to go back to those charities with some new socks in the new year. We're also looking at bringing in gift boxes and a subscription box. At the moment, one of the hardest things for businesses like ours is how do you get customers coming back on a recurring basis? We get so many customers purchasing 10, 20, 30 socks, but then they do that once, twice, maybe 1 or 2 years in advance. But we think we can get around that by increasing the subscription box. Looking at our board meeting minutes here, Kenzie had some really interesting points that we were talking about, and we were trying to work out how do we design our socks, not just to hit our core range, which are relatively floral, a decent amount of colors, but how do we start to bring that and make them a bit more attractive to the audiences that we don't yet have. So trying to make it more male focused, getting in some black and white, some stripy socks, some polka dots. And Kenzie was sharing that you could bring in kind of that core range that we've got, stay core to our brand, but then start to add in little amps. Maybe we could have a psychedelic one, maybe we could have one with stripes, and start to just lace them into the products. And hopefully from a design standpoint, it's efficient because you've already designed the animal, which is the hard part, and then you can add in just a few differences that might make your products pop out. And what is really interesting is then you can start to bring that product mix into the marketing mix. And that's something that we need to do as a business going forward for sure. So thanks everyone, that's it for today and our March board pack. I'll be back for our April board pack, and if there's anything you think we should improve, please do email us or comment below. Thank you so much to those people who have already told us what we need to improve. It's incredibly helpful. And yeah, if you'd like, subscribe and follow for more. Hopefully this content worked for you and it continues to work for us. Thanks.